What's going on? We're back. It's another week. The CliffNotes Project Studios present the Boston Power Hour each and every Monday. I'm going to take it nice and slow today because it was kind of, let's say, a weird, strange week, ladies and gentlemen. Patriots lost. Just a little bit confused. Well, not so much. But the reason I'm saying I'm a little bit confused is we here at the Boston Power Hour spoke about so many things we need to watch out for. We spoke of this young man. You know what? Instead of me speaking, how about I just replay what we spoke of last week?
Because I'll say this and I'll put it out there and I know you're going to watch. I know you're going to see it. Dante Hightower, this is your redemption game. Dante Hightower, you got people supporting you. You got haters out there as well, too. I've been one of them most of the season. This is the game to prove it. Dante Hightower, I think you're going to stuff Jonathan Taylor at some point. I think you're going to get a forced fumble. Maybe you even get the fumble. I think it's going to happen this upcoming game. I'm supporting Dante Hightower. This is his redemption game.
Holy shit. I'm giving gunshots for that one because that was amazing.
This game in general is great for the run defense. Prove it. Show it. Make Carson Wentz throw.
Oh,
just play man.
Look at
That's
that.
it.
This
make
guy.
Wentz throw. Make him win the game. If they're going to win a game, make him win the game. Because I know that if Belichick's game planning it, he goes, we'll let him throw it. If he throws and has a great game, throws for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, so be it. He beat us. But we know what we have to do. We have to control the run. We have to make sure that we can stuff Taylor, make him throw. Let our defense take care of it. JC get a couple picks or something like that.
We study film.
That's it. Mac Jones, I would say this game might be an opening for Mac. I know that we talk about game managing,
plan was to say, hey, we're going to have that guy run the ball. We're going to stop it. But then we're going to have this guy make a play. It seemed to be the plan going in. I don't know what happened, or maybe I do know what happened. You guys remember this part right here?
Will they have enough to finish this game? As Frank Reich said, here's Taylor. Taylor's going to finish it! Jonathan Taylor to the house! Good night!
Yeah. That happened. Little confused, guys. I'm a little annoyed, just a little bit, but I understand it is football. It's not superhero type stuff. Normally I don't rant, but I said I had to go first today. I hope you guys are here. I hope you guys are watching. Boston Power Hour, I kind of lost my mind just a little bit, but just one more video for you guys. One more before we move forward, okay? Again, we're talking about the run. We're talking about one man.
You never know. I mean, they're so well coached, right? And what I have seen over and over again is that if you can just keep pounding them with the offensive line we have and with the backs we have over all the years, that I've been doing this, it just breaks because it just takes one guy on defense to get in the wrong gap. And, there was some discussion right there. I almost called a pass, feeling like we got to make a first down here. And I said, no, I'm going to call one more run. I talked it over with the staff, with Marcus, and, said, no, let's just call one more run. And then, John, it just popped.
As you see him get through that gap and then he slides right past Hightower, what's going through your mind? Because he's not to the end zone, obviously, yet.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking there's no way anybody's catching him. I mean, there's no way anybody's catching him. If I remember, we're typically in what we call church mode right there.
One more run.
Where, he could have gone down.
That was the game. An opportunity for us to play the game the way Coach set it up. I'm going to stop right now because I know there's someone out there, just someone, you might know him, that has something to say about this particular play.
I literally came on here last week and bowed down to Dante Hightower. And I said, Dante, I've talked my talk all preseason, all season long. I'm going to switch it up. This is the game you prove it. Because time and time again, there's been so many mistakes this season that it shows, why are you still on the field? Like, why are you still out there? and Bill trusted the defense. Bill wanted the defense out there 2 times. Get those 2 stops. That was inexcusable. You had the chance to stop. You had Jonathan Taylor right there. And for the most part, and we're going to get into it later, but Jonathan Taylor was somewhat held in check. I mean, if you look at his final stats, we'll talk about it later, but the Patriots didn't do so bad against him. That's all you needed was that one final stop against Jonathan Taylor, and you let him blow right by you for a 60-plus yard touchdown. And when I saw that, and then it's more important because you see it in bang, bang, play. And you're like, oh, this guy runs up the middle. There you go, scores. It's that second video in the back of the offense. And where Frank Reich even said, all we need is their defensive player to make a mistake. And guess who that defensive player was, Cliff? It was Dont'a Hightower. Dont'a Hightower made the mistake.
Ouch.
He made the mistake that gave you the chance to at least try to stay in that game with that last-ditch effort. It was over after that. It was completely done after that. I wanted to show my support last week, and then you just tore my heart out yet again. And now people are starting to see, Cliff, what I was kind of talking about.
Yeah.
And I want you to pull something up for everybody at home. It is the cap hits this year. Dont'a Hightower takes up 6% of the Patriots' cap space. And the guy next to him, Devin McCourty, he got an interception, tip ball right to him. He takes it. McCourty actually plays pretty well this season. 6% of that cap, and what I was trying to preach about way before the season, because the rumblings were true. Mm-hmm. If you cut Hightower at a certain point in preseason, you would have saved $10 million on the cap. And I ask people this question still to this day. The current Patriots team that you see, the 9-5 Patriots, would you have rather kept Dont'a Hightower at his cap space at $12 million? Or would you have rather taken the $10 million you would have got preseason and give it to Stephon Gilmore? Would you rather have Gilmore on this team right now or Dont'a Hightower on this team right now, Cliff?
You come on. Don't ask me that question. You know the answer. You know the answer.
And anybody at home, just tell yourself
Chime
this.
in.
What would you rather have? Dont'a Hightower or Stephon Gilmore right now and going into the remainder of the season? And now I actually want to look at this. Hunter Henry, he's making his money. He did fantastic, 2 touchdowns. Jonnu Smith, he'll get mixed in. I'm not too worried about it. Jalen Mills, he's getting his money. He's especially for
Let's
filling
talk about the other guys too.
Oh, yeah, you got the other side. Kyle Van Noy, Adrian Phillips, Dietrich Wise had a sack this week too. J.C. Jackson, I know he's on his last year. Kendrick Bourne as well. I mean, look at the value right now of everyone around. I know maybe you look at some of the bigger numbers like Trent Brown or Shaq Mason, Aguilar even, and like, is that truly worth it? But Dont'a Hightower with that looming $12 million cap space, you're not going to have it next year, fellas. You're not going to have it. They're going to have some cap space next year. But seriously, it was just so annoying because, I'll talk shit all day long, dude. I'll sit behind here. I'll go on all these rants that I got to say, but I want to support Dont'a. I support the team. I want to see the Patriots win. And the fact of the matter is that happened to him. It reminded me of the Chargers game.
Yeah.
He had the same situation. And I think it was Justin Jackson who ended up running for a big fucking play after that. So
look at you screaming those lines. Look at what's coming out your mouth.
You got Dont'a. I just noticed that. You got Dont'a. You got Dont'a, dude. Dont'a might punch me in the face if he ever sees me. You never know. It might happen.
I might tell him don't do it.
It might happen.
I might tell him don't do it.
It just you got to let your true feelings come out. And listen, I'm just a fat slob at the end of the day, just sitting on the couch on Sundays, or I'm at the game in the stands. I don't play the game, but obviously I'm going to say what people are feeling, and people are seeing that, and they're starting to agree that maybe Dont'a isn't what Dont'a should be at the money you're spending for him. And I'm really going to pin this back and we'll move on. I have a very strong feeling, very, very strong feeling that they went to Dont'a and they wanted him to take a pay cut and give up some of that money. And he said no. And it becomes a stalemate because Dont'a Hightower is going to be a Pats Hall of Famer. And I know that how much Kraft loves him and the organization loves him and the fans love him. So it comes to that standstill. Is like, do we really want to fight over this money? Just pay him. Let's see what ends up happening. Yep. And truly, he hasn't showed that he's been worth the money this year. And we don't know the mentorship that's happening behind the scenes. I think they're going to try to spin it that way. But man, when it's the moment and you need to make a stop, and that was you, Hightower, that was supposed to be your stop, it didn't happen.
I want to let me interject because I don't want to be. I want to make this show interesting, simply because I got a call. I won't say who called me, but let's just say a person who called me, former player, had the opportunity to play with him as well. He played for real. He played in the NFL. And he said, Cliff, you got to be kidding me. You understand that sometimes it does require a full team. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can go back to that video. Go back at your leisure. We'll put the link down below. But I want you to see everyone on there on this team did their job. Hightower, unfortunately, sir, overplayed his position, and that's only because I believe he was watching Jamie Collins, who dove in. But what Jamie Collins did, that was the effect, forced Taylor out. Taylor being a really great runner. We spoke about it. We got to give credit where credit is due. Made an amazing cut. It looked real simple. It made Hightower look really bad because guess what? You look really bad. But at the end of the day, it's the team that really lost the game, even though we wanted to see Matt get the ball one more time, but we didn't get that opportunity.
And I think what makes Belichick so upset, and he was lashing out at the media that night, and then today he's, apologized to the media, which was crazy to see that. Mm-hmm. I think he's upset because of the situation of the game and where it placed into when he wanted to trust his defense, and that mistake happened and ended the game. Mm-hmm. And I think he knows that should have never been in that case. So it was heartbreaking, Cliff. And, it was something that I was rattled because of all the money I had on this game, dude. Yep. I was rattled in the sense of, the mistakes that happened. Let's run through the game.
Let's talk about this guy first.
Let's run through the game. Jonathan Taylor.
We knew about it.
He had, I think, 29 rushes. He had like 100. There you go.
Hold on. Let me get you.
Small there for me. I can't read that.
I got you. I know.
I can't read that. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, that's his season totals, too.
Yeah,
so 217 attempts, 1,500 yards a season, 17 touchdowns. And here's the thing, 170 yards rushing, right? Mm-hmm. 29 attempts and a touchdown. That touchdown obviously came in the last play. We've been talking about that. Sir. And 65 of those yards came in with that last play. So the Patriots kind of held him in check. 100 yards.
100%.
I know they had a graphic up. I posted it on Instagram. It was Belichick has only given up, he's like 18-2 with like running backs, some sort of like stats about 100 yards. And Taylor is now, one of those wins on that side. They held him in check, but Taylor was eating clock. Like they were eating clock much time. They were taking so much time. Jonathan Taylor definitely deserves to be in the MVP conversation. Yeah. And I said this, and I was trying to find it. I didn't know if it was last week or the week before. It was at some point. It probably was the week before. And I was saying that Jonathan Taylor can be the MVP, especially if he wins against the Patriots. And that was the game-sealing touchdown.
And he did it.
And just to go further into that, Tom Brady laid an egg on Sunday Night Football and looked terrible. So his MVP conversations go away. Aaron Rodgers now back into that conversation, but I think Jonathan Taylor needs to be part of it, especially if he has 3 more games left. If he continues doing what he's doing and the Colts make the playoffs, and the Colts try to catch up and win the division, I think he deserves to be the MVP. And you're going to look back on this game, and if he wins the MVP especially, and being like, wow, like you just saw an MVP.
You saw what he did.
It's rare in that position he plays, too.
The numbers are gaudy.
The numbers are unreal, and I know fantasy owners were very happy about that.
Let's talk about the other numbers that are disgusting on the other side of the fence.
So, like I said, make Carson throw. Make Carson throw. He only had 57 passing yards. He did have a touchdown. But the thing is this. He went 5 for 12. Mm-hmm. He only had 12 pass attempts this game. So it was looking good. And it's just too little too late at the end with the position the Patriots put themselves in numerous times where they started getting that momentum in the fourth quarter. And if you just made that stop, if you made a couple stops and you got the ball back, there really was a spot where the Patriots trusted it that they could have tied the game up and made it 20-20.
Now, how do you think they would have tied? Do you think they would have gone with this guy? Or because the run game wasn't doing anything.
So you had to go with him. I mean, he had, I believe, 45 attempts this game, passing the ball. Yeah, the run game wasn't going. Remember, you didn't have Damian Harris. It's still not an excuse. The offensive line looked putrid out there. I mean, there was a point, I think it was Isaiah Wynn bumped into Stevenson.
Oh my God.
And
You
tackled
saw
him
that?
down.
Yeah.
Like it was putrid. But you got to look at it this way. Mac Jones made a comeback into the game. He tried everything. He tried to keep his composure the best he could in the fourth quarter, and they scored 17 points. They scored 17 points, unanswered points. They got right back into it. So I think that you would have put the ball in his hand, but again, it's game managing. They would have probably tried to get it down, kicked a field goal. I think that's what Belichick trusted it. I rewatched the game today, just the highlights, that little short 14-minute condensed version you can watch on
I love
NFL.
those things.
It was good because
Yeah.
it just, you got to see a couple things, and I'll have it. I'm
Kind of
gonna
you just kind of get out of your feelings, right? Just so you're like, okay,
Well,
so this is what happened.
Well, when you're drinking like a ton of Bud Lattes, you kind of forget about some of these plays. So it's actually awesome to just go back and be like, oh, that happened, that happened, that
Right.
happened.
I blacked out here. I was pissed off here. I took a piss here.
So, like, just breaking it down, because I know we're not going to, I don't know what you have next for the other. Give me one more graphic if you have the other one for the other offensive guy that did pretty well. I don't know if you have it or not.
Which guy are we talking about here?
About
Hold
Hunter
on.
Henry. Hunter Henry
guy?
had 2 touchdowns. He had 77 yards. I don't know if you have it out at
give
all.
me a second.
But Hunter Henry wasn't a cold slump. I was talking to GRD before the game. He was saying that he was thinking about putting some money on Hunter Henry, at least scoring a touchdown. He's been the Patriots MVP. I know a lot of people are worried about coming up this year. I mean, 9 touchdowns. He's gonna hit double digits. That's a good win. He's feeling himself now. Good first season for Hunter Henry. He's been worth every penny. People have been claiming, been bitching him on there's not a wide receiver 1. He is your wide receiver 1 right now. It's good that he's getting on page, but it does show the Patriots do need a wide receiver 1.
100%.
The Patriots do need it because going into this game, and I'm going to run down kind of how the game went.
Yep.
We had Silver Bullet in the studio a couple weeks ago. He said, Mac Jones can run. He said it. Remember that? He said something that Tom Brady can't do. He can run. At the beginning of the game, Mac Jones got a first down. He used his legs. He's able to get out of the pocket. He ran for a first down. I like that. A little bit later, his throw to Jacoby Myers was a dime. It was there.
That was a nice pass.
Jacoby didn't catch it.
Nice pass, 100%. I'll agree
Jacoby
with you
needs to
with
get that.
Yep.
And that made me think right then and there, this guy needs a wide receiver 1. And we've
100%.
talked about it. It might not happen next year. It could happen the year after. Maybe make a trade. But it does show, and it should give some confidence, especially with the 45 passes. Mac had some good throws. Mac needs a little extra help out there because you do have a lot of B players around there.
Yeah,
he
you
needs
do.
an A- type of guy on that team.
And you know what's funny? I think this is what before people harp and say, oh, excuses for Mac Jones. I want people to know, one, I like Mac Jones. I'm still not 100% sold. But you know who else needed another, and this is completely to the left, another number 1 receiver? My Tom Brady. Holy shit. They got messed up, and I don't know if you heard, he's out for the year. Is number 1 receiver.
Yeah, Chris Godwin.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, and like
Bucks are going to be a little different now.
Yeah, he was struggling. I know they're going to get Antonio Brown back though.
Right.
He's supposed to be coming back, but yeah, I mean it's kind of. It's funny, like, to see how both sides went this weekend, and the Patriots, the way the Patriots played, and then the way Bucks played. And I believe Brady hasn't been shut out in like 15 years or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, 2006 or something
crazy.
like that. But it just shows you, like you said, regardless of the quarterback, they need kind of like their number 1 receiver.
You do need a number 1
and
receiver.
And as you had stated, maybe Henry isn't your typical stretch the field number 1 receiver, but he is his number 1 receiver.
And what's great is you got
Possession-wise.
Henry for 4 years. Like, that's what you got him locked up. And Jonnu Smith, we've talked about it. We'll defend him. Next year's the year we decide what happens with Jonnu Smith. I'm going to give him a mulligan this year.
Okay.
But if you know what you have out of Hunter Henry and he's got comfortable, you have to go get another receiver out there.
Yeah.
You do have to pair Hunter Henry now
Agreed.
and get somebody else out there that can spread the field a little bit
That
more.
or play Bourne a little more, or do something specific with him.
How about N'Keal Harry with that catch? I'll get into that in a second. So the thing is this game was about momentums, right?
Okay.
So it was all about the Patriots not having the momentum or getting a little something, and then everything just falls flat. So when you have the Jacoby and it was right in his hands, should have been a catch, what happens? They're going to go punt it, and it's a block punt.
Right.
Now you're down 14-0. Now you really lose that momentum.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, you get yourself back into the game. Mac Jones drives him down the field, looks great. Let's score before half because you're going to get the ball back. You're going to get the ball back. Interception.
Yep.
You're in the red zone, interception.
Tough interception, too.
And that's on Mac.
Yeah.
And then, okay, it's halftime. Now you're down, 17-0. You get the ball. another interception to start the second half. And I watched that interception, and go back, guys, onto it whenever you can, and look at that interception. Mac looked lazy. Mac just didn't seem into it. It just seemed like a really bad, lazy type of throw. And that just, what are you doing? Like, it seemed like at that point, you're already giving up on this game.
Good statement by you, and I didn't think you were going to say that shit tonight. Because I felt like he was kind of giving up, didn't it?
Felt like he gave up at that throw was just so ugly. Yeah. Really, and that's why I'm glad I rewatched it, because it was just that one throw. I'm like, man, I didn't think it was that bad.
Right.
I thought maybe it was just a bad mistake, bad route. That was just bad on Mac Jones. And it just seemed like they were going to give up. But again, here's the thing. It's 17-0. And then obviously it's and they got lucky too, in the sense of Blankenship missed one, but then there was, again, the penalties really hurt them. I think there was like 8 offensive penalties or whatever it was. Man. Very unpatriot-like. A couple missed field goals, but one made in, then another missed one. It was 20-0, and then you go into the fourth quarter. There was the Mac Jones throwing across his body, which was like, that's a huge no-no, and it ended up getting caught, but it's like, that's a rookie mistake.
Let's not give them credit for that.
You can't give them credit. Like, I know if that was Pat Mahomes, would be all over ESPN. Right. Oh, look at Mahomes doing it. So again, it kind of another lazy, just get it out of here. Yeah. And I think he was feeling the pressure of the game. Finally, they get their first touchdown to Hunter Henry later on. Then it's the momentum, right? So we're talking about momentum. And I tweeted this out, and it was like right at the fourth quarter. I was like, if this guy comes back in the fourth quarter, the comparisons to Tom Brady are going to be off the charts. And it almost happened. Yep. You get the first touchdown, then a tip, interception, McCourty. Now you're feeling it. Now you're going. Okay, so now it's 20-7. They go down the field, and it's fourth down. There was a 4th and 1, and they converted on that because it's short, right? They had good field position. It was, again, like 3rd and 2 or whatever it was. It ended up turning into a 5-yard penalty. It pushes you back. So there's a point where it was like 4th and 5, 4th and 6, whatever it was. And you're down 20-7. It's the fourth quarter. I agree with Bill Belichick going with the field goal. And I feel that not many will.
It's called football, not video games.
Take your easy points when you get it. And I also looked at it this way, because we're going to fast forward in this game. If you go 4th down, and if Mac Jones make it, great. Right? You're taking the risk. What's the probability of him actually converting that 4th down and scoring a touchdown? And not even that. It's the fact that if you go for it, you miss it, and then the Jonathan Taylor run happens, it's 27-7.
Right.
So now you're not even going to have any sort of momentum back into the game, and now this game looks really bad. So I thought going for the field goal was good, because it's Bill saying, I'm trusting my defense. We're going to get that ball back. And it happened once, because they end up getting the ball back. They go down the field. What happens? Touchdown. So now it's 20-17. And that's where Bill, again, trusted, hey, my defense has to make that second stop. And it didn't happen, of course, and we got into that, and Jonathan Taylor goes and scores that touchdown.
Right. I think, though, let's go back on a few things that you said. I think, one, Bill knows that they don't, quote-unquote, have like a go-to play, a go-to player. Henry might become that player, but as of right now, they don't have a play. We all remember the days when we're at the goal line, Tom Brady, Vrabel's coming. We know what's going on over here. He's running a flag. Got it. Boom. Mac doesn't have that yet. Right? He might not even have the player yet. Not to say that Henry is a bad tight end, but they just don't have that chemistry yet.
And just, I forgot to mention it too, but just the fact that to get into one of the field position, they had to chuck it up to like N'Keal Harry, and N'Keal Harry has his one catch of the game. It was a great catch, but again, it's just.
And then what happens?
He got hurt.
Boom!
He's out. Yeah.
Oh my God!
He got laid out. But it's just. You're right, Cliff. He does not have that one go-to guy just yet. But again, it's something that I said this in the post-game Instagram Live. I said, boom, you got punched in the face. Like, boom, 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 boom. You got punched in the face that game. I'd rather have the Patriots lose this game, because now you have Buffalo coming up on Sunday. And it's great. Imagine they had Jacksonville coming up this week. It wouldn't really fit, because then it's like, we're kind of going to half-ass this. Jacksonville isn't a good team. They're not. They're booty cheeks. But you have Buffalo. You got punched in the face. They crawl back into the game. in the fourth quarter, scored 17 unanswered points. The team made a couple stops on defense. The offense got it going. They converted a fourth down. They were getting the third downs. They were moving the ball. So there was a lot of pluses right there, and that's why it goes back to the field goal. Because if you end up going on it for fourth down, you miss it, game's over.
Game's
over. You lose all momentum. That last 8 minutes of the game don't matter.
Agreed.
Mac Jones, we already said, looked like he gave up at one point.
Yep.
The team's not going to try. The team's not going to try.
At that point is when coaching matters, right?
Yep.
And that's what we're going to need in the playoffs. Good to see that Belichick is kind of just getting revved up to be making some good calls for the playoffs. Good to see Mac Jones stepping in and throwing the ball. I heard something today while I was driving. I think I was picking up my kids. It was on the Sports Hub, and they were like, Mac Jones has grit. Ladies and gentlemen, to me, that's a cop-out. The guy's been playing football for a while.
Yeah.
He's gotten slammed like a lot. When you get hit, you eat him, you get up, you go back to work. So I don't want to give him that mulligan by just saying like, oh, he was able to do it. So that means, no. What showed me something is the fact that he kept going, that he kept throwing the ball, and they didn't give up on him.
I want to also say this. This is not Mac Jones slander. Please do not spin this, because I know you guys will anyways, right?
Fuck it.
I already said that I felt like Mac Jones kind of gave up on that second interception. And you could just tell by the body language. You could tell by the throw. I thought in his post-game press conference, he seemed a little rattled, sad. It reminded me a lot of the New Orleans game. Remember when he was sitting on that bench and he had his head down and Belichick had to grab him
and say, let's go.
I just feel that, and again, he's a rookie, and I don't think he's used to losing. Because to get into the NFL, at your point, you have to be a winner at all times.
Right.
A.K.A. Trevor Lawrence, the guy who's never lost anything, never lost it, and now look at what he's dealing with in Jacksonville.
Over there.
Mac Jones, in high school, probably hasn't lost many times. College, obviously, he won a national title as a starter. So he hasn't dealt with, like, losing yet. And I feel like in the losses, he doesn't handle it too well. I think he beats up himself too much on it.
Yeah.
And it makes me nervous because if the Patriots somehow lose in the playoffs, right, wild card weekend, divisional AFC title game, how beat up is he going to be on himself? God. And that's what I'm nervous for, because you don't want to show that sign of weakness to the media. Please do it behind the scenes. Do it somewhere else. It's going to be maturity. It's going to be growing. He's going to learn over time. I'm not saying like this has to be this, and this, but I thought that this game reminded me a lot of the New Orleans game, and it felt like Mac Jones, when you're down and out, kind of gives up. He luckily had the chance to come back, but it scares me because if he doesn't fix this part of his game, it's the losing aspect and how you handle yourself, boy, it's going to be really tough going forward over the next couple of years, because you're going to be in spots where you're going to lose big games.
I definitely agree. I think that you could tell that he's doing some breathing mechanism even during the games.
They talked about that weeks ago on Bertrand and Zoe.
Yeah,
and they said that they were talking about it helps him calm down and stay calm. And that's his thing. That's cool.
Right.
But you're doing it so heavily that we're noticing.
We're noticing it, yeah.
And it's like now, and we're talking about it, and we're going to nitpick it, even though it means nothing. But we're all going to nitpick it, and the media's going to nitpick it, and they're going to ask him all the questions, and that's what they did today. They asked him all the questions on WEEI, and then at one point he's like, hey, listen, that's the game's in the past. Let's move forward. So now he's starting to see the pressure from the media here.
Right.
How like they're going to attack you on even the smallest thing.
Yeah,
so
we're in New England, man. It's going to be
it's all a learning process.
Market, but it is a learning process.
It's a learning process. We got plenty of years with him.
Like you said, it happened now. Better it happening now than in the playoffs. So that when he gets to that point, he says, hey, I remember being in this point. I need to do this. I need to check down. I need to look at that. I think looking, even today, before coming in the studio, I just hung at the house real quick, and I watched the Vegas game, right? And seeing how their quarterback was reacting just to the adverse, like they got a first down, they called it back for holding, but no, Carr got into the pocket, made some great throws, commanded his team. I think sometimes you just have to go through that so it could become like muscle memory.
Yep.
Like, oh, shit, I've done this before. Let me calm down. I know the plays. It was good to see during the hurry-up offense, it looks like he knows it.
Yeah.
Because he's making calls. These are not just like things he's just calling out. Like even something like this, these are curls. You know what I mean? So I was pretty impressed by that point. But I will say, I did see the breathing. I did see that the coaches are not giving up on him, because you and I were kind of talking, because I kind of gave the Patriots benefit of the doubt in the beginning of the game. I said the game was too fast for them. They were much more aggressive than the Patriots. And sometimes that could be attributed to a bye week or them just not playing, not having that nice flow. So we'll do revisionist history weeks from now during the playoffs, obviously. But I think it's good to just get rid of this freaking loss. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it this way. I've heard a couple takes today on the radio about this was the Colts Super Bowl. And if you live out in Indianapolis, I'm surprised they even have fans out there, but they've been talking about this game for weeks. They've had this circle down for weeks. And if you think about it, how many times when we've been riding the wave to the playoffs? Well, this game's going to be the important game. The next one's going to be. We never really had the Colts game ever circled down,
right?
But they had Patriots circled down for a long time. When you had that game get flexed that Saturday night, I'm sure they were even more hyped into it too. So, it is what it is. You take the loss now. You get punched in the face now. You still control the AFC East. You win the next 3. It almost feels like, do you even want the 1 seed? Do you want to have the bye week? Because if you're going to play like that after a bye week and have the rest,
right?
If you want to play like you just played off the bye and you want to have the rest, is it even worth it? Because are you going to come out and be sloppy again?
I didn't think of that either.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Which team do you fear the most with the last few games that we have left? And I know we're going off script here, but I think that needs to be asked.
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what type of Buffalo team comes in here. They're coming off a win against Carolina at home. Carolina held their own. It sucks for Cam Newton, because if they had a kicker, their kicker got hurt pregame. They had no kicker. They couldn't even kick field goals.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet on them. That's why I knew.
Oh my God.
So there was points where Buffalo was already not getting any momentum. Carolina had momentum, but they had to go for it on 4th down. They couldn't kick field goals, and it kind of ruined it. And I felt like Carolina stuck around. This Buffalo team's going to come in here because this is going to be the biggest game, man. Because Buffalo wins, they take control of the division, and all they have to do is win out. And they have the Jets the last week, and I forget what other team they have in between, but they have the chance to take over. So that's why I'm saying getting punched in the face they're going to have probably the hardest week of practices coming up.
I agree.
They got to get this team focused. This is going to be the biggest hump, the biggest hurdle.
I'm just going to show you the breakdown. I didn't make a nice graphic for you, but here's the thing that you sent. But let's talk about
I forgot to get it for you, too.
No, it's all good. We're good. We're still working.
Look how close everything is. And the fact of the matter is this: the Pats are 9-5. You lose this week, you're 9-6. You're starting to slip because all those other teams that are starting to catch up to you. Now the Colts win, they're 9-6. They have the tiebreaker over you. The Titans win this week, they're going to be ahead of you. The Chargers, luckily, they're not ahead of you. The Bills will be ahead of you as well too, because they'll have a better division record.
Yeah.
By the way, because you lost to Miami.
Yeah.
The Bills have only lost once. Patriots have only lost once in the division. This settles the division right here in a way. So you already lost to Miami. They didn't. They beat the Jets already. They beat Miami twice. And then all these other teams, the 7-7 teams, and then the Ravens that are 8-6, they're all climbing up.
Crazy Raven game. Did you watch that?
And it was, yeah. I do want to say this, Cliff. Let's go back to you right here. You said this off air. Because I always get ahead of myself. Because I always like to pre-plan things, right?
Which is okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Because next Monday night, I want to be in here celebrating an AFC East title for the New England Patriots.
Yep.
You're already like, I'm not happy about that Week 18 game against Miami coming up at Miami. Because the way things happen, you lose to Buffalo, you beat Jacksonville, right?
Right.
You split those games. The division might not be there, but a playoff berth might be there, but you got to play in Miami, and they always give you so much trouble.
Why?
And it really could come down to that. It really could come down to that, Cliff.
I hate saying it. I know.
And we're going to be at Boston Bowl that day.
I know. And I know Patriots fans are going to talk shit while they're watching us saying, oh, how are you guys real fans and not believe? We're just realists. Every year, Miami has to do something stupid, or is it us doing stupid stuff? I don't get it. Like, I'm for whatever reason, Buffalo, no concerns, right? I will say this, and I'll say it and I'll leave it there. I did get nervous when Mac was wearing a glove because all I was thinking is like, oh shit, is what I was thinking for the next Buffalo game going to come to fruition? I really want to be wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So we'll move on from that. Miami every year. Plus, They got a nice little momentum going on over there, man. B-Flow's a good coach. He just doesn't have a quarterback.
Yep.
Just doesn't have a quarterback, man.
I'm hoping that what ends up happening is the Patriots win on Sunday. They beat Buffalo. Even if Miami beats the Saints on Monday night, all the Patriots have to do is beat Jacksonville. And once they beat that is not even a trap game. You literally should go in there half-ass and beat that Jacksonville Jaguars team. I'm sorry. You really should. And then that Miami game kind of becomes somewhat like it's important because in terms of home field, you're going to have home field for the wild card game at least, but it comes important in terms of the divisional game and your seeding.
Yep.
But I could also see the Patriots kind of packing it in. This is something GRD said to me. He goes, we could be looking at that Week 18 game as maybe the Patriots throw that game on purpose and they want Miami to sneak into the playoffs to screw the Bills over to screw somebody else over to get in there because they know that, hey, if we see Miami again, we can beat them.
Nice job,
we know what we're doing
on that one.
I know. So the next 3 weeks are wild. You got to take it 1 week at a time. Buffalo's coming up next week.
Yep.
Just take care of business, and you're at home. They already got the bulletin board material out there on Route 1 with the best back-to-back best fans of football. So
we're gonna do something about, ladies and gentlemen. How about, you know what? How about you tell them what we want to do? Because you mentioned it, but get a little more in depth.
So this is what you got to do. I said this.
Pretty simple.
Like a week ago, I think it was. A week ago, just in my head, you got to always think ahead. You have to be ready, and sometimes plans don't happen, and we're hoping, knock on wood.
Yep.
You heard that right there.
Even though it's like here, it's okay. It counts.
It still would.
It counts.
I said, you know what would be awesome is getting a billboard in Buffalo saying when the Patriots do win the AFC East, saying thanks for keeping the throne warm, Buffalo.
I like that.
It's thanks, New England 2021 AFC East champs. I want to troll the Buffalo Bills because this is the team that danced on your grave last year.
Yep.
They thought that they had it. They went to the AFC title game. Buffalo thought it was over for New England. You went into Buffalo, New England Patriots. You beat them by handing the ball off 1,000 times. You go out of that game, you should feel good. And I hate these people, Cliff, that think you shouldn't be cocky. You should be the Patriot way. Go fuck yourself saying like, oh, you got to be the Patriot way and all that.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yes, exactly. Like, own it. Be cocky. That's what's the fun thing about sports is just talking shit with each other, right?
Yeah.
With other fan bases. So here's the thing. I thought of it. I sent it your way. You had the logistics out there. You sent it back. You're saying, Babz, the minimum you can spend is $5K. You get 2 billboards off of it. We're going to learn through it. I kind of put it out there in my story post. I wanted to gauge your response. I got about 40 people messaging me. I'll throw down. Because it's got to be crowdfunding. We ain't spending $5,000 together, Cliff. It's got to be a crowdfunded type of thing.
You got 2 babies. I got kids. God damn it.
It's not, I need the diaper fund needs to stay intact. So the way I looked at it was, we got to do this together.
Yep.
It generated some buzz. Then today, on Monday, the 20th, it's the 20th, right?
Yes, sir.
I saw on Twitter that they're putting the billboard back in Foxborough, back-to-back best fans in football, and it's from Fox Sports, and I know they're trying to troll the Patriots, and they're putting it out there. So I said, wow, that's great timing, because the billboard idea was already out there.
That's right.
So they're putting their billboard back in Gillette Stadium.
You know what? We're going to come with ours, damn it.
So when the Patriots beat Buffalo on Sunday, and then when the Dolphins lose Monday night, and it's official, and the Pats are finally the AFC East champs, once it's official, that's when we put it out there.
Let's do it.
That's when we put it out there. We'll put the GoFundMe out there.
We need your help out there,
we need
Let's
help.
make
We'll put it together. I'm sure that enough people in this community of Patriots fans come together. Let's put the Buffalo billboard out there just to troll them. A little taste of their own medicine. It's going to feel great. And guys, like, none of this whole, you got to be humble in this. I don't play for the New England Patriots. I'm a fan in the stands, just like you are as well, too. Just own it. Have fun with it.
Hell yeah.
And just like, hey, you guys suck.
Be
won
proud.
during COVID year. Like, it doesn't even count. So it will feel great. And trust me, on Sunday when you beat the Buffalo Bills, it's going to feel great. We're going to get that billboard out there, Cliff. I know you're working on the background. I know other people are going to be helping us out with it as well, too. And it's going to be fun. I want to make some noise out there in Buffalo.
You know what? It sounds like a party. And speaking of parties, you know what? Let's invite some people to a party.
Yes.
You want to come out partying, ladies and gentlemen? January 9th.
Yes.
I'm going to have a nice little thing for our Boston Bull people, for them to see how the Boston Power Hour squad has fun. I think we did a little pregame. Again, shout outs to the Brooks Casino. We're coming back. They reached out. and we're going to set something up.
Perfect.
But January 9th, which is a Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, come watch the Patriots whoop that ass, some fish ass, okay? We're going to have a watch party starting at noon. We're going to have a pregame. You can hang out with me, hang out with Babz, come bowl while we're watching football, some Bud Lattes. Well, we'll have Bud Lattes, but if you look in the very far left corner there, there's some special Boston Bull beer. I have a question for you, sir. I don't know if you're prepared for this.
Everyone can come out and see you sweating because you're going to be so nervous going into that game. All the Patriots are going to lose.
I know, but you're going to be there to calm me down because you know what? I think for the first time, I think I'm going to join you with some Bud Lattes.
Oh, all right. A little celebratory.
Are you going to be willing to try their beers?
Oh, absolutely.
Because we talked about it. I said, hey, they said, really? Spike would do it? I said, yes. He will sit down and tell you what hops is not hopping or popping for that matter, damn it. And I think it's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun over there, a lot of great prizes. We're going to be giving out some Mac shirts. We're going to be giving out some other things. A lot of great things happening that particular day. Stay tuned. I'm going to put out some flyers, we'll say tomorrow, similar to what you see there. It's a watch party, man. We're going to have some fun. Is there anything that you want to do that particular day, sir?
I definitely want to be bowling. I love bowling. I was thinking about this the other day. A lot of my buddies hit me up, say, you want to go golfing? I'd rather go bowling.
When was the last time you went bowling?
Dude, it's been a while. Actually, funny story.
Talk about it.
I used to be in the bowling club in high school.
Hell.
Nerd.
Really?
I was in the bowling club. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So you actually spin and
I was. I went to Central Catholic in Lawrence, and we were part of a bowling club. I was a freshman. I did freshman sophomore year. We used to go up to Lowell. I forget the bowling lane that's up there.
Okay.
And we just bowled against each other. And I used to do it like once a week. And I just like bowling growing up. Candlepin obviously is the way to go, but around this area. But I like the big ball bowling. I've always been big into bowling.
There's both there.
And I'm actually going to bring the twins out for that watch party, so we'll be able to bowl with them, and I want to bring them out. I think the last time I went bowling was right before COVID. I was down in Lawrence Trampoline Park, and they have a bowling alley down there in Warwick, Rhode Island, and I think that was the last time I went bowling with Michelle.
Nice.
But it's been a while, and I've been itching to go bowling, and
there you
I think I had this in my mind, and I was just
scratch away, baby.
I was like, oh, we got to go bowling. So
you know what we'll do? We'll get them 2 lanes. We'll get them with the bars.
Yeah,
so they can feel good about it. Let them roll. They even have the I forget what the name is. That little there's like this little metal thing that you.
Yeah, it goes right down. Yep.
We'll
I'm excited, and more so, I'm excited for for you. Anybody out there, kind of, I know Cliff will have more information about it, of how you can come out and watch us and be there and be part of this. Anybody that comes out, between your family, my family, I've been telling a couple people off to the side about it already before we even really go out there publicly with it. So the Patriots are on the road. They're in Miami. It's the last game of the year. Hopefully we're all loose. Hopefully the AFC East has already been locked up. And, it'll be a great way to just come out and talk some football game. And
come out and
I'm excited
talk
just to be in another venue as well too. Will be our second venue together for a live show.
It is going to be really cool.
This is your home too.
Yeah,
so
this is my home.
It's a home game for you.
So what we're going to do is so Boston Bowl, the way it's set up is like, if you guys look, there's like 2 sections in this particular area here. They have this quote unquote like the boutique, which is a fancier area. So we'll be there. We'll have the watch party over there, and then there's the other side of Boston Bowl, open to the public. Everyone's is welcome to both. You can swing by. But while we're working, we are going to be working. We are going to be doing some beverage or sipping, we'll say, some adult beverages. So we'll say hello. It won't be for too long because we are still working, even though we will be having fun with our personal friends and families. But just come out, come hang out, get some pictures. Would love to meet our fans out there. We definitely have some fans. I love people just DMing me because I was sick. People are like, hey, Cliff, are you doing all right? I want to give out shout-outs to, and I can't remember his name, but he recently lost someone in his family. I don't want to put out his business out there, but prayers and light being sent your way, brother. I do hope everyone and your family's doing better. Praise and condolences to that. That shit's just never cool. But he reached out to me while he said, hey, he couldn't watch the last episode. Sorry about that. But then he told me that he lost. I'm like, shit, dude. Like, wow. Truly honored, greatly appreciated. Like, for real. Family first. This is a family event. Hopefully, you know, you and your family could come out and check us out and meet that guy over there because he's the cool guy. I'm just the button guy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what? This is at the point of time because we're at 45 minutes and we want to be cool. We want to just see if we can let's talk about making some people some money because you looked like you were kind of hurting, but at the same time, you had some calls, man.
I'm on a cold streak right now. Oh, yeah, I did. Actually, last week, I remember I said New Orleans plus 11. It's too many points. They won 9-0. I mean, I said Carolina money line. I didn't know the kicker was going to get hurt the last minute.
And that's not your fault.
The Patriots. I said Kansas City, take them points. It ended up being a walk-off overtime touchdown that ended up happening. The Patriots hurt so much. That was like $2,000 that I just goes away right there because all my parlays and stuff would have hit. It was. I'm ready to you got to rebound, man. You can't.
Rebound.
I'm going to be rattled for a few days. I had a couple bets today that didn't go my way. I mean, dude, you take the Raiders minus 2.5 today. Ugh. They win by 2. Like, it's just, that's how Vegas is so cruel. Yeah. I'm like, I'll take the Bears today, and the Bears lose. Like, the Bears just look terrible. It's like, what is going on? So, reset everything.
Are we ready to reset?
But we'll reset. Let's get into a couple games.
Let's get going.
I'm never picking against the Patriots.
Ever.
And it's so weird now looking back on it because last week the New England Patriots were the underdog, and then look at the way they played. So Vegas truly does know. So New England's a 2.5-point favorite against Buffalo, which should feel good because they're coming off a loss, but it's because they're at home. Usually when you're at home, you get a 3-point favorite. That's the way they look at it. But take the Patriots minus 2.5, and you get Damian Harris back this week. So that's going to be super important.
Yes, sir. How about this game here?
Baltimore at Cincinnati. So, was it Huntley has looked great in Lamar Jackson's place for the Baltimore Ravens.
Huh?
I mean, he's just like Lamar Jackson light.
Yeah.
It works out. The Ravens have made a lot of coaching mistakes the last couple of weeks. In their decision making,
that last one was rough.
It's crazy to see that. In Cincinnati, they dogged out a win there. It looked like Joe Burrow got hurt, but I would take Cincinnati at home. And this is a great big divisional matchup. It's going to be great the next 3 weeks because of the actual divisional games you're going to be seeing where they're going to be fighting for the. I think Cincinnati right now is the top of their division. So
some good football,
I'm gonna take
man.
Cincinnati. Take Cincinnati minus 2.5.
What about Christmas?
Cleveland at Green Bay Christmas. I like that little Christmas action you got there. Cleveland just came off a loss today. They should get Baker Mayfield back by Christmas. But I look at this game in the sense of Tampa Bay lost 9-0. Brady's MVP race is probably done. Aaron Rodgers has stepped in. Aaron Rodgers needs to have a humongous big game. You're at home. It's Christmas. I feel like this is the stepping stone for Aaron Rodgers to solidify an MVP run the last couple of weeks.
Everyone's
watching.
Go
back-to-back weeks. And also ups his ante in the offseason, whatever team he goes to. He's gonna get that one final contract, mega contract. So
how many years would you say?
Dude, right now, the way Aaron Rodgers is playing, it's weird because in the offseason, it doesn't look like he's having fun. He looks like he's beat up, he's done. But when he goes out there, they're crushing it. And I think Green Bay now is the 1 seed. So if I'm a team, I'm trying to sign him 3 years, 4 years right now. 3 years with maybe a 4th-year option and give him the bag. I mean, he's worth it. He can turn your franchise around, any team out there.
Miami?
I actually am now thinking that someone said Pittsburgh. I know you're saying Miami. Someone said Pittsburgh. Maybe Vegas. I feel like Derek Carr, but I feel like they're going to move on from Derek Carr. They're going to bring a whole new coach in there.
But don't you think he wants
to go for where the money's at? A new coach will want a new quarterback.
Not just the money, but to actually win one? You don't think he wants to show you can win
Aaron Rodgers, just like Tom Brady's going to bring players in with him as well, too. Devontae Adams is a free agent. Devontae Adams probably might go wherever, he goes.
Would be
Chris Godwin's a free agent. Chris Godwin might go where Aaron Rodgers is going because Tampa Bay can't sign him because they don't have the funding to do it. So don't forget that as well, too. Aaron Rodgers might make his own little super team in the offseason and land somewhere. And I look at Vegas as well as a dome. So, he's older. Maybe he doesn't want to play at Lambeau anymore. Doesn't want to play in that cold weather. It might work out.
Yeah, too cold. How about the second game?
So Colts at Arizona. Arizona got demolished against the Lions.
Are they real or not? What is going on over there?
It's Dan Campbell has actually bought in not only his own fan base, but the actual football fans out there. Mm-hmm. You see this guy just keep grinding and putting that into his team and solidifying, hey, we'll fight tooth and nail to the end. And there's been so many. Look at some of their losses this year. They're more of like they're kind of like a 6-win team. You know, they're a 6-win team. Great for them to get there was a Super Bowl win against Arizona. But Dan Campbell has kind of at least saved his job for another year.
Yeah.
But you can't have another year of this. Like, you do need to turn it around at some point.
So what do you do?
Dan Campbell is going to be someone that will have 1 or 2 more years in the Lions and not win, and just because that's what happens. And then he'll be an offensive coordinator, defensive, whatever, coordinator somewhere, and be good at his job, and then probably get another coaching job somewhere else. Or he might get an opportunity somewhere else if they let him go in the Lions. I feel like if he has the right pieces around him, the right organization, he'd be well. Let's talk about this game. Indianapolis at Arizona. Colts coming off a big win. Arizona coming off a loss. It's in Arizona. Arizona only a 1.5 favorite. I would take Arizona in this game. This is, again, the Jonathan Taylor game. If you can go and tear up that defense of Arizona, you really are the MVP as well, too. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Great Christmas games that they have this year.
Yeah, happy about that.
And it works out in their favor.
Our Monday night.
Monday night, you got to root for New Orleans, especially when the Patriots win on Sunday.
Yeah.
We will be here in the studio, especially if the Patriots win. When the Patriots win.
That's
the Patriots win. We'll be here in the studio next Monday night. I told Cliff we need to start early because we need to watch the game as it's going, talk about it in the background. And again, Patriots win on Sunday. Miami loses on Monday. It's official. The Patriots are your 2021 AFC East champions.
That, sir, is a good call. But
parlay all that.
But you and them fucking parlays,
I know.
man.
You hit one, you get addicted.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
What was your best parlay, though, would you say?
Of all time?
Of all.
I hit like 2 or 3 grand one a couple years ago on Bovada. I forget what the teams were. It was a mix of NBA, NHL.
Really?
I think it was like a $25 bet, and it turned into a couple grand.
That's amazing.
And then I lost it all, but it's offshore betting.
Didn't we almost have?
I mean, we hit that when we were at the Brook. We hit a $20 parlay to win 700, which honestly turned into, taking that money,
14?
It turned that money and taking it, and then we hit another parlay, which I ended up making like $350 off of it, and then cash it a little, and then that took in the $350 to go into the Patriots parlay, and that it ended.
That
so
happened.
It's not like I lost like $2 grand. It was like $20 and $10 technically because I split the bet. Turned into the possibility of winning $2 grand after spread out over 2.5 weeks, and it didn't work out in that.
It still
favor.
Stings, right?
It does sting, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's part of the game, man.
That's all right. All right, so we spoke about Boston Bowl again, January 9th. Watch this guy's Instagram. Watch my Instagram, Boston Power Hour Instagram, for more info and intel. 'Tis the season to be celebrating, sir. With that being said, number one, Santa Man, what would you say be? Let's go with three movies that you really, really, really like. Like, it's like it's that time of year. Kids, maybe the kids weren't around at that time, but maybe they are. And you're like, hey, you know what? I want to watch said movie. What is like a go-to? Because I know you sent me some notes. I was actually a little shocked. So you'll have to explain this movie right here. Because this was my favorite movie.
So this is my number one movie. So, but it's movies, but 1 and 2 go together.
You got to watch them both.
You got to go together. Which one do you like better? 2, obviously.
Yes.
But they have to be together. So if you're going to sit down and watch Home Alone, you got to watch Home Alone 2. If you want to watch Home Alone 2, no, you got to watch Home Alone 1 first.
That's right.
You got to put them together. Very rare where movies go back to back and the sequel and the first one are so great that it still stands in time. Sometimes these movies nowadays, they make too many of them. And like say The Hangover. If you just had one Hangover,
or Home Alone 3,
but that's not. But it wasn't. Macaulay Culkin.
So you're not giving
in
him
it.
that one.
No,
Okay.
it was not Macaulay Culkin in it. If it was Home Alone 3 and Macaulay Culkin was in it, it sucked. It's a different story.
Right.
Home Alone's a classic. It's something I grew up with. I was a little brat growing up. My mom would tell me there'd be. I remember one time, I guess I was stomping on the stairs and saying, "I'm living alone. I'm living alone." So. especially growing up as a small kid, and Kevin McAllister is a small
Yep.
kid, you kind of feed off of that. He's a little older than you, but you feed off of that and you mimic the things
You
he
mimic
did.
the things.
Because he was a brat. He was a
Yeah.
brat in those movies, and it's wholesome. I'm gonna watch it this week at some point. I haven't watched any Christmas movies yet.
I just thought it was cool, like what the stuff that he did, because I was like, yo, and I was obviously older. I was like, wow, if someone breaks in, I know what I gotta do. I need to have pre-recorded music or words and see like someone shooting at someone.
And
right?
watching that movie as a kid, and as you get older, you start learning things. I didn't know Joe Pesci was the badass of what he was.
Crazy, right?
So
Yeah.
like when you start watching some of these movies nowadays, like a Goodfellas or something,
Right.
and you see Joe Pesci in some of these movies, you're like, it's so crazy that he has this role and that's who he is. And then he did Home Alone.
Home Alone,
And
yeah.
it was like something completely different. And
Shout outs to him, man.
Yeah,
I
so
appreciate
it's
that.
awesome. You appreciate and then
Speaking about older people or
Daniel
people
Stern, too.
trying to act young, how about this guy? He's
Elf.
Yeah.
So
Will Ferrell, my guy. Fell
I
off a
have
little
this
bit,
as
though.
my number 3 movie, and funny enough, I guess, and I just talked about doing sequels. They offered him a lot of money for doing a sequel.
$29 million.
And he said no.
And I'm happy about
Yes, because it
Yes.
makes that movie stand in time. I was thinking
Yes.
about this. He has a holiday movie that will forever be shown every
Facts.
single holiday. You always remember his name. You always remember Will Ferrell. That was smart of him not to do an Elf 2.
Yes.
He turned down $29 million, as you said. He saw the script. He also didn't like the director. And it is what it is. That's a different world that I don't know. But, it's a movie that... It's comedy, it's gold, it's Will Ferrell, young
Right.
Will Ferrell. You're starting to see him age now too. He's
Yeah.
not the same guy as he was, but it's peak Will Ferrell at that time when that came out as well too. So it's a movie that I always would enjoy to
It's
watch.
our movie, Young Generation. It's our
Yeah.
movie, damn it. How about this movie? And I know this was part number 2 for you, but
Yeah,
you got about to shoot your eye out.
A Christmas Story. You grew up on this movie. It's always on TBS, TNT.
Yeah.
And they play it all day long on
Yep.
Christmas. So
true.
it's one of those movies that you're kind of forced into watching, but it grows on you over time.
It's
and
like
it just
white
feels
noise.
like it's part
like
of that.
you're doing
Yeah.
shit in the house. You still got to hear it.
So yeah, you can have it on the background on Christmas Day, and then it's like playing again and playing again later, play again later, and you're like, okay, and then eventually you catch the whole movie. So
Did you ever want that lamp that the father won?
yeah, the leg lamp.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so,
it's a good
like,
joke.
just to date myself. So, when that came out, I was somewhat younger, and I was like, ooh, look at that leg.
Yeah,
I
sexy.
was such a perv.
Sexy. I will say an additional note, like Charlie Brown Christmas is another one I'd watch.
I love that shit. I have that little tree.
Yeah, my father grew up as a Charlie Brown fan, Snoopy and all that. So I think that I used to watch it a lot as a kid as well too. So I grew up in with that. So I think those are the 4 movies I would be into this week.
Was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer one of them? Because around that time, they had, I think, Frosty the Snowman. They had the Peanuts thing come out, and then there was another. It was around.
I'm not
I
into
think
Rudolph
CBS.
and stuff. I'm not
No?
into Rudolph, not into Frosty. I know a lot of people have told me the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I liked it as a kid. I watched it again. I was like, eh.
Yeah.
But again, I think
Yeah.
it's because they made another one, then they made a third one, and it's just like, I'm not gonna.
There you
it
go.
turns
You're
you
right.
off. It's like, it ruins it. So
Yeah.
when you have that one gem, you're gonna always remember that one gem, and then you start
point.
making more. It's not the same. The franchise isn't the same.
You're right. Well, I'll tell you what my favorite movie is, and people like to say, "Is it really a movie?"
I was just gonna say.
I'm
wait a
sorry, that's
minute.
my shit. I mean, yippee-ki-yay, mother. You know what I mean?
Is it
like
really
that.
a Christmas movie though?
I don't know why it feels like it, because it came out when I forget what year I was supposed to do the research and look into it. I forgot. I didn't Google it, but I remember going to Dead of movie theaters. It was Christmas Day, and I watched it, and it's forever ingrained in my brain as a Christmas movie because all of that shit happened during Christmas, and they bundled it.
Did Jumanji come out on Christmas? Because I feel like I watched a rock movie. A rock movie came out at some point during Christmas, but I don't associate that with Christmas.
No.
And I
do.
think it's just you old heads that had nothing else to do, and the movies was a big thing, and it was
Yeah.
movie theaters were big at the time,
Yeah,
and you go
'cause
out,
there
and
was
that's
nothing
why
else to
you
do.
associate it. Because when I looked up the list of
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
top movies all time, Christmas movies, that was like number 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like Edward Scissorhands was another one, and I was like, that's a Christmas movie.
That was crazy. That's crazy.
But it's just. It was ranked higher than Elf and Home Alone and all those. Those are Christmas movies.
You know why?
Because they have to do with Christmas.
Bruce Willis is just a cool motherfucker. And it was during Christmas when it came out. The movie had to deal with Christmas.
There's nostalgia.
I was very, but I'll say this. This right here didn't get a lot of love, but I love this freaking movie. Here, The Office Christmas Party. Super good. Jason Bateman. What's that chick from, not chick, but female from Friends. Really funny movie. Just a really funny movie. Jennifer Aniston. Really
Never
good
seen
movie.
this, by the way.
I'm telling you, if you have Netflix, it's on there. Check it out. Really funny movie. It's like one of those movies that you like, Grandma's Boy or Waiting. Those like old school movies that weren't super popular, but only certain people knew about. It's like certain hip hop.
Yeah,
that you don't really want. Yeah, you don't really want to share it to the mainstream.
Yeah.
That's my shit right there. That's my stuff. So Christmas, what are you looking to get, man? You already got 2 babies. What else do you need in life?
Yeah, 2 babies means I actually am looking forward to the gifts I got them.
Yeah?
And them opening it up.
Okay. Well, they're not watching. They don't.
I could tell.
Okay,
Michelle doesn't even watch this half the time either.
Me neither. My wife.
She'll watch it back.
She's like, I gave you the.
She watched last week's, and then she was mentioning something, and I was like, "Did you watch the week prior?" I talked about the cougar, and she said, "What?" And I was like, "Never mind." I was like, "Never mind." I'm looking forward to all the gifts I got this year. Although through all the betting of losing, I've had a couple good weeks. Those good weeks turn into presents.
Right.
Good presents. I want big presents. That's what I want to do for the kids. I want to try to grab them things that I didn't really have as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. I had a really good upbringing, but I like fun toys.
Yeah.
I want to have stuff that I want to play with too with them, right? I got them a Jeep, like a pink little Jeep Cadillac thing. Nice. That's cool. That we can remote control with it.
That's cool.
I bought them their first slide.
Okay.
So we'll have that set up indoors, and they'll probably get so many bruises, and I'll show you that on Instagram when the time comes. I got them a couple couches, like little plush couches that they can sit in. I got them. They love the show Bluey. Well, I like the show Bluey, a kid's show on Disney Plus. So I got them a bunch of toys for that. I bought them a kitchen play set that they can use. I just was at Walmart, saw it. All right, throw it in.
Shout out to DraftKings for all these gifts.
I know, dude. Seriously, it was interesting this year because last year they're babies. They're so small, so you get baby toys, things that they're gonna. It doesn't nothing. This year you start kind of exploring a little bit more. I went down the board game aisle.
Yeah.
And you see Monopoly and Yahtzee, Risk, games that I grew up on. And I didn't get those, but I was thinking, wow, in a couple of years, these are the things that I'm going to be getting for my kids, Operation, and be playing with them.
Hungry Hippo.
Yep. It makes me think this, Cliff, as a parent now, and you've been through it, is that, and still are, is that, you grew up playing, like, say, Hungry Hippo yourself as a kid. Then you don't play it for 20 years.
Right.
Then you have a kid. And then you end up getting it again and then playing it with your kid. And it brings back those memories and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. Like, you're going back to being a kid in a little bit.
And then, you know what? I think there's something humbling about that. I think the fact that, like you're saying,
it makes me look forward to it.
You're playing, and then now you'll see your competitive spirit gets into it, and you're like, hey, you're not beating me, little mom. You know what I mean? But
Daddy flipped the table over.
Exactly. What is going on? He's acting like this is a Patriots game. It's Wednesday. What's going on?
Yeah.
Patriots already won the Super Bowl. Why is Daddy mad again? No, it's something really cool about just finding yourself getting excited and getting toys. The one thing I would say that my uncle used to do, and I swear he used to do that on purpose. He would buy me a toy that required batteries and didn't bring batteries with him.
Yeah,
like, you're an asshole.
Do you have to bring batteries?
It's prerequisite.
Yeah, you have to.
Come on, what is he gonna look at?
And it's like the stores. Do you remember like KB Toys and Toys R Us would say if you're in checkout and you don't get, if we don't offer you batteries, you get them for free.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people took advantage of that.
Probably not many.
Yeah, because they sold it to them. Like, you probably get fired if you like.
It was probably right there.
It was always right there. Do you need batteries? Do you need batteries? Do you need batteries?
Looking batteries. They were cheap.
And batteries are not. Yeah, those cheap ones. But batteries are expensive. Like they are expensive. So
I go through them with my. Well, thank God. During weddings, like say maybe 4 years ago, before lithium batteries or the rechargeable batteries came into thing, I used to freaking go through them, and then I had to kind of like revisit like my pricing for weddings, and I was like, I'm going through like the big packs for a wedding, and that's like $20. I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense. But it's funny that you mentioned how batteries are not cheap. So now it's different. Now you can get lithium, the rechargeable
Everything's
stuff.
charged. Everything's
So
charged.
you
up.
already put up the tree. When did you put up your tree?
We put ours up this year. We put it up December 5th or something.
Really?
Like right around there. Last year we put ours up, I think like right after Thanksgiving, Black Friday.
Yeah,
we might have
we
gotten
wanted
a
to
tree.
be weirdos this year too. We was like, everyone's putting him up. Our kids were saying, why does TT, their aunt, have their tree up?
Yeah.
I'm looking at them like, you.
Now, are you a real tree guy or a fake tree guy?
Okay, I will confess, I love real trees, right? But we're fake trees now. I'm going to tell you why. 2 years ago, we bought a beautiful tree. It was blue spruce, I think it was called. It came with a friend, a little mouse. This little mouse was going all over the house, and all of my family members were scared of it. That sounded like a rap real quick.
It sounded like you're telling a Christmas story.
Yes, we'll have to cue that real quick. There was a little mouse that came in my house and made a little rouse. That didn't rhyme, but it's okay. No, and after that, man, I tried to catch it, couldn't catch it. Then I finally paid, I think it was like $400 for an exterminator to come in and do the same shit for me to do.
Yeah.
And then it got caught, and then he sealed the outside. It was like a hole. And I was like, we're done with that.
Where'd you get your tree? How does a mouse in the tree? Don't you shake your tree down outside?
We did. Y'all do that to get some of the loose pine needles to do that. It came in with it. I don't know, man.
I don't believe it.
I don't. Hey, that's fine. But I love the smell.
Yeah.
But this is what I really love about it. Like, how far into the fucking year till you find a couple pin needles? I'm talking about it's July.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? And it's like, still? Yes. Christmas is still hanging out. How about you? I can tell by your reaction.
We grew up in my household with real trees, and real trees are expensive, man. You know, this year was $68. Right? Yeah, but it's like you buy the fake tree once, and even if you get a nice one, say $200, you're going to use it year after year after year. But the real tree, love the smell, love getting your hands all sappy. Getting it out's a pain in the ass, but that's just part of the process, part of the holiday process. I think having a real tree, it looks beautiful. Michelle is a fake tree person. That's what they've always had growing up. And when we were dating, it was Christmas time when I was living in Everett, and I got real trees. Dude, like when I lived by myself in Everett for a little bit, I had a real tree there. That was like the top priority around Christmas time. I got a real tree. I told her we were real tree people when we finally got in together and moved in together. I dumped her fake tree out. Nah, we don't need this. So now every Christmas, it's the last 2 Christmases, she's like, when are you getting the tree? Remember, you threw my tree away. And this year I got a little rattled because like it's been a little bit busy. And I was like we were kind of holding off on the tree. And I was like, maybe we'll get a fake tree. I almost said it, and then she spun and she said, you threw our tree away. Like, no, like we have to get a real. Now she wanted the real tree this year.
Get out of here.
And we
nice.
What we did, it's because the babies are moving around so much. Yeah. And they're getting under everything. We actually have
You got to get those gangsta bases.
So we have a pack and play, an outdoor pack and play, and we put the tree inside of it. Wow. So the babies can go up and they can grab on the top of the pack and play, but that's all they can touch. They can't get underneath. I actually had to cut the backing of it. You can't see it when you're looking at it. And so I can have like a little hole so I can put the water in it. Right. But I wanted a real tree. Everyone's happy. The babies are happy. They were scared of the tree originally when we put it up, but then they love it now. I think they were scared because last year when I got rid of it, I had to cut it down, but I had to cut everything off, and they probably saw me do that, and they're like, "What are you doing?
Like, what's going on?" Yeah.
But real tree for life. I can't go back until I'm old and I can't get it and I can't put it in myself or anything like that. It'd be different. You got to be for life. You got to have a real tree.
I'm not mad at that. I just
and like the first year we got our tree at Home Depot, just because we got it like the day at Black Friday. Those trees sucked.
They do suck.
They were limp.
You got to go to a
They
tree
were limp.
farm.
Yeah, and we went to a farm this year and got it. And I asked the guys, like, we get ours on December 1st. Yeah. So I was like, it makes sense. That's why you guys didn't have it last year.
Yeah. Yep. They do go, man. They do go. So, all right. So you're not a fake tree guy. I'm okay with that. Is there a certain specific way that you guys celebrate? Do you guys just like, are you like the fam that like orders Chinese food during Christmas, like Eve, or is it day?
Yeah. So now like having kids, it's different traditions. Like, so growing up, Christmas in our household, we got what we wanted as kids.
You said you're Armenian. So what is your wife?
She's like, we're all mixes of everything nowadays, aren't
So
we?
does
right?
she come with any like traditions?
No, they don't. No, just.
Fake trees and
But we're just, we've become such a melting pot in society.
Yeah.
That some traditions do die, like in terms of heritage and stuff. In terms of me, like I'm a mix of Armenian, French Canadian, Irish, Italian. Like she's like German, French Canadian, Irish, Italian, something else. We're American. You just kind of celebrate in the American way, I guess I would say. And I mean, growing up, I got what I wanted as a kid. Even though I was an asshole to my parents sometimes, they took care of us. They worked hard.
Yeah.
And we celebrated Christmases. Now, being a parent, you kind of see like how work and Christmas. I'm working on Christmas this year.
Get out.
And I got to work. But
What time?
3 to 11.
Okay,
that's my shift.
Okay, so
but like I was supposed to work Christmas Eve, and I had to. I finagled myself around. I finagled things around because Christmas Eve means more to me. Growing up as a kid, on my mother's side, we used to go to her mom's house in Middleton, and her whole family. She had a bigger side of the family, so everyone would come out for Christmas Eve. Yep. Christmas Eve at the Murphys is what they would call it. So when we had our kids last year, we went up to Lawrence and went up to my parents' house and had Christmas Eve with the babies and them and my side of the family. Christmas Day, we went to her family's house and did it there. So I think that's the new tradition that we're going to start doing. I was supposed to work Christmas Eve, but I was like, nope, that's like, I don't want to ruin the tradition year two.
Right,
like I want to make sure it's something that we do every Christmas Eve. It makes my family happy. Her family's happy. And you know what? I work that 3 to 11 shift, so I'm not missing out on Christmas. Christmas morning, I'm around. You do your thing. It's a morning thing, so you don't miss out on that. But my family, my mom was an RN and my dad's a meteorologist, so they grew up working a lot of the holidays. So as a teenager, you lost a luster of Christmas. And I think that they would work instead because, hey, we got to pay bills.
Right.
And that's the time you make your time and a half for double money.
Hell yeah.
And as a young adult at the time, I used to just work holidays. I would pick up the holidays purposely for those that wanted to spend time with their families. Because I said my time will eventually come, and I will be the asshole and say, no, I'm taking this day off, dude. I put my time in, and I'm telling everybody, if like 10 to 15 years of the working world, like I put my time in on the holidays, that I don't feel guilty taking time off. To the young ones out there, put your time in and work hard. Like,
why not?
I don't know. None of the respect your elders type of thing, but if you have a family, like do it. Like if you're a single person, like I think once you get a little older and you're young to mid 20s, what does Christmas really mean to some people? It didn't mean anything to me, so I picked up the shifts, and now I'm starting a new tradition with my family, and I'm excited.
No, that's dope.
Working,
that's dope. For us, it was Christmas Eve. We used to, my mom, when I was with my mom in my mom's house, we would go to like church, and I remember they allowed us to open a single gift when we came home. Because growing up, like we were poor, man. Like my dad and my mom, they both came from Haiti. Bust their ass. My dad was a cab driver. My mom worked at Long Island Hospital over there as like a person in the kitchen and stuff like that. And then they busted her ass doing their thing. I remember we literally my brothers and I would get like one big gift. So it's like, hey, we're getting a video game system this year, and I remember, I vividly remember Sega Genesis came out, and there was a game called Altered Beast, and I just couldn't wait. So I was getting sneaky at the time. So I said, listen, Mom, my mom was methodical with wrapping her gifts. So I get like this little scissors that she used to use, and I just cut the clean tape, and I'd pull it out, take the system out, and we would play. Then in the morning, get up, put it back, and then say, oh, I wonder what we got, even though we're the ones who selected it. She wanted us to go through that, right? I'm like, hey, we got it. Let's get right to it. And we're just playing video games. And like, it's probably why I probably corrupted my brothers in becoming older than when they were supposed to become. But anyway, so got married with my wife, and that was the thing too, because it was always like my family, no one else. You're not going anywhere, Cliff. And there was really, back in the day, nowhere to go. Everything was closed, right? Where now, we go to Christmas Eve, we go to her family's house, and then Christmas Day in the morning is everyone kind of comes to my house. Since we purchased a home like 6 years ago, so now my parents get to come over and say that well, my kids are not watching this, that Santa, and that's the next question I want to ask you, that Santa dropped some gifts at grandma's house for my kids.
Yeah.
So now with that being said, 2 questions, and we're over time, but that's okay. When did you find out Santa wasn't real? And 2, when are you going to tell your kids that Santa isn't real?
Funny question. Josh Tumlin, who's going to watch this, we just literally talked about this tonight.
Get out of here.
I think we talked about this tonight.
I'm going to put a note on it. Boom.
We were talking about it, and because he has a 10-year-old right now, so his 10-year-old still believes in Santa.
Mine too. 9.
Okay, so I think that's the age that I remember. One night going down my stairs, and the stairs are enclosed to the very end, and it's rug, so you could be kind of silent. And it was, you get excited. Christmas Eve, Santa's coming tonight. Yep. And I heard a lot of commotion downstairs in the living room. Probably my parents bickering at each other because it's last minute. You're wrapping stuff. And I think I was sitting on the steps, and I just heard them planting gifts down. Oh. And you kind of felt like you knew something. Then you go back upstairs, and then it's just silent. And it was like... You kind of knew, and I think that's right around, and I think I was in 2nd grade or 3rd grade, which is like 10 years old, maybe.
My daughter's in 3rd, so 3rd grade.
So I think it was right around there. Yeah. But it's not one of those things where it's like I'm going around telling people, I don't believe in Santa. I think I just ate it, and then once I think my parents knew, then you lose the luster of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And what my dad did, which is smart, I love doing this now. I always do this with gifts. Personal gifts. I do it with Michelle, and I did it with the babies this year. He used to just write like to, instead of, to Brian, it would be like to somebody from somebody, or like one year he got me Celtics tickets. It'd be like, to Brian from Paul Pierce. Okay. Like, so it would be kind of crafty.
Oh, wait a minute. When did you start getting Celtic tickets?
Oh, I got Celtics tickets back in, I think my dad started bringing me back in 98, 99, 2000.
So how old were you, would you say?
Dude. So I was born in 91. So I was going to games when I was pretty young.
That's awesome.
I didn't go to any Patriots games till I was like in 2008, I think was like, or 9 was my first Patriots game actually in person.
So you were going to Celtics games already?
Oh yeah. Celtics were the team. Growing up, I was a Red Sox guy, but I love going to the Celtics as a kid. Yeah. I remember going to the Celtics, one of my first games when outside the Garden used to have the above ground T station.
Oh my God.
So that's how young I was when I was in the Garden.
That's dope.
I remember that. So the Fleet Center at the time. And I remember going to games. I remember going to some of those Pacer games in the early 2000s.
So you saw some shit.
I did.
Good basketball.
I remember going up to, my father used to be very crafty with tickets. Mm-hmm. Brought me to it was either for my birthday, because my birthday's in July, I get tickets to something, or tickets at Christmas. And he gets to go too. Mm-hmm. He probably enjoyed it. He brought me up to Manchester, New Hampshire. They did preseason games up there at the Verizon Wireless. And he used to like to get there super early, wait in line. You're waiting around. This is before you had the cell phones, smartphones, or anything. You're just fucking standing there. And we didn't know this, but all the players from the team at that year, and I forget what year it was, they all lined up at the door. Uh-huh. And we happened to have Paul Pierce at our door. Wow. So when we got entered in, it was Paul Pierce shaking everybody's hands, saying like, oh, welcome to the Boston Celtics season. And we had row 2 seats. And it's preseason, so the seats are like $70 each. And it was great. It was great time growing up like that. But no, that's the things he do. I did things this year like, I had a gift for the kids. It says like to Bluey and Bingo from Bandit, which is from Bluey. Bandit's the father, and those are the kids. So things like that. Cool. I'm giving Celtics tickets. I already gave them to Michelle, but I got Celtics tickets to the KG retirement game. I spent pretty fucking big money on that. And I gave her a poster board. And because tickets are all mobile now, which sucks, by the way, not having physical tickets. I miss them. Yeah, They're on your phone. I gave her a big poster that says it's just KG, and that tells you the game and stuff like that. So it was cool. Dope. But that's what the new tradition is. In terms of telling Santa Claus, like when's fake, I shouldn't have said that. Did I just mess it up for those people that believe in Santa?
Sorry.
No, but it's just, I let the kids figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
Make it believe as long as possible. I know that Josh Tumlin's told me that some people at, his son's school say, oh, they make fun of me because I believe in Santa. And it's hard as a parent to be crafty and witty and try to, I'm gonna learn as they get older.
Dude, I'm doing freaking that elf thing, and
Elf on the Shelf.
night, you gotta move him around.
We have not done that. I do not want that tradition. Or if we have that tradition, Michelle, you're the one who's got to do it because it ain't gonna be me.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you. Shout outs to Jen. Jen does that shit. I'm like, I woke up one morning. I'm like, we didn't do it. And the good thing about it, well, the supposedly the good thing about it is if it doesn't move, that means they weren't nice that day. So I'm like, wow. So you kind of just control these kids' brains for a while. But all I was thinking is, because my son's super emotional, I was like, he's going to have a fucking meltdown. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Santa's not real?
Yeah.
Like, but I will say,
tough.
though, like, I with my kids, I spoil them to death, but I also teach them, like, the value of just money and just being good people and just being good to things. And I've noticed, like, their list is starting. It's also, too, they're getting older, but their lists are getting smaller, right?
Yeah.
It's shrinking. Like, my daughter just wants, like, the girly stuff. Yeah. And my son, he just wants, like, a new remote control to be better or a new basketball or whatever. So I think that's pretty cool. I think there are no more toys either.
Yeah. What I'm going to do with the kids is, I have two of them. They're like twins. So it's like, they're getting one of everything. Yeah. Like, and you got to learn to share with each other. That's it. And it's instilling that right now.
We fucked up with that. We were doing, this one got to get this and do that. And
it's harder probably having boy girl than it is just two of the same person. Like it's what the twins are.
This is true.
And I mean, we're having our issues right now, them fighting with each other, but they do
bite marks.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Who's the biter?
I'd rather have them bite each other than bite somebody else. But it's like, it's Sophia, dude. Yeah? It's just like, dude, you got to stop. Like, I don't know. You can only do so much. Wow. I just got to live with it.
I've learned so much today. So your dad basically created spiking. If you think
no,
about it.
what do you mean?
What are you talking about?
He created the witty, gifty type of the gift thing.
I didn't get to. Well, again, our situation was different. Yeah. So there was cultural things, but like sports was not a thing, and I don't know. I don't have like a lot of friends where their parents like brought them to sporting events. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So growing up in our household, we're going overtime, but it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Growing up in our household, my grandfather, and I think that's another reason why I didn't like holidays. I loved my grandfather growing up. Mm-hmm. So my mom's father wasn't with us. He passed away before I was even born. My grandfather on my dad's side, he was an iron worker. He worked hard his whole entire life. He comes from that generation. You save all your money, but then the boomer generation comes. They get spoiled, and used to spoil us. But he grew up a sports fan. And I think that instilled into my dad. My dad's kind of quiet and shy, but I know he loved the Bruins growing up in the 70s. He loved the Celtics in the 80s because that's what was hot around here at the time.
Right.
And he grew up in Everett, so you're a stone's throw away from the Garden. Not that far away, dude. I used to love living in Everett because you take the T in, you're there in 10 minutes.
Yep.
So our big thing in our household, because I do have an older brother, my older brother loved wrestling growing up. Hulk Hogan in the 80s because he was born in 85.
Wrestling was good.
So it got my dad into it. It got me into it. He used to take all three of us to wrestling events.
Nice.
Growing up, WWF at the time.
You did WrestleMania?
I didn't do WrestleMania until I was older.
Wow.
So we didn't go to but he brought us to but he treated us nice, in the sense the Royal Rumble 2002 was at the Fleet Center. He brought me and my brother. We got balcony seats last minute, the day of. He was always crafty with Ticketmaster back when Ticketmaster was easier to use. And he used to go to concerts all the time with my mom, Pat Benatar. I remember they would go to.
Nice.
I saw Prince in concert because my mom couldn't go. And I saw Prince in concert. And this is before I could really understand who Prince was. I was a young kid. And we were in the promenade. I saw him. He brought my brother to U2, I think, at Gillette Stadium.
Wow.
I think they went to another concert at Gillette, me, my mom and him. They used to go to we went to, what did they see? Bare Naked Ladies at the Tweeter Center at the time. Now it's the Xfinity Center.
Cool. See, my parents
I've been around. I mean, my dad, the best. Oh, dude. So this is the number one, a couple moments. So we went to wrestling one time. This is more of a story for me. We went to wrestling. It was the Cape Cod Medley tent. I must have been 13 years old at the time. And the Medley tent has a pit, an orchestra pit. And they had the ring right in the middle. And my dad got us 2 seats on Ticketmaster. Probably got them, and you could get, back then it was a little cheaper than what it is now.
Facts.
We had front row, but the 2 seats they had to put in for us. And the only side of the stage or the only side of the ring had a little area where they could wrestle outside. If they got Randy Orton got thrown out by Kane, and he spilled over and was in my lap, like looked right up at me, and we didn't have a camera because back then it was Polaroid cameras, and we left the camera in the car, and we were already waiting in line. It's like, oh, should we get the camera? Yeah, it's not a big deal, but we didn't have a camera, so that always stuck with me. It was in early 2000s. The other time is my birthday was coming up. He gives me a list of concerts. He goes, where do you want to go to for your birthday? And I look at all the concert lists, and it was probably 2002, 2003, and it was at the Xfinity Center, and most of them were country and stuff. I had no idea who they were, so I'm pretending to look, and I knew which one I wanted. It was Jay-Z and 50 Cent. What? It was Rock the Mic Tour.
Yeah, wow.
And I was probably 12 or 13 at the time. And they had a lineup. Like, I have to look back sometimes when I think about it.
Like
Missy Elliott was there.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta look it up. I don't know if Ludacris was there. If you look at the lineup and see who was there, maybe Jadakiss was there.
Yeah, legends are there.
They had a legitimate list. Like, you look at some of the tours now, and they're like, like there's nothing great, because like it's all money hungry, and I get it.
That's right.
Because my father, growing up, loved going to the Kiss concerts. The Kiss concerts used to have Kiss One Away concerts. Used to have like
my cousins legitimate. Used to go. They had money,
but they had legitimate like acts like at those.
Yeah, it wasn't just anyone.
So with the Rock the Mic tour, I didn't even understand at the time, that young, like. I obviously understood the music, but I didn't understand like how big these names were until later on. And I remember we had seats just like in kind of, how it's set up in like 3 sections to the right. We were kind of like 20 rows up or whatever, 30 rows up, 20 rows up. So 50 Cent was performing. And 50 Cent gets into the crowd and he starts walking up the side. So my dad, when he goes to these, he's quiet. Like he'll be like, that's how he listens to music. He doesn't he just smiles and just listens, right? So 50 Cent walks up, and there's not a lot of people in our row. So I leave the row because 50 Cent's coming up the aisle. Yeah. I got pushed by security, big bouncer guys, right? I got pushed into the other section. 50 Cent went right into the row that we were in and stood up on the chair next to my dad and was like rapping. And my dad's looking up like... Like, you know what I mean? And I just remember that vividly and I'm trying to fight because I'm like, it's my seat over there.
Where I'm supposed to be.
So it was, and I was like, and then when I got back over, he just told me, he's like, you should have just stayed right here. And I was like, yeah, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know he was going to come in that area. But no, it was a lot of great memories. He used to bring me to a lot of venues, a lot of concerts. I think that's what, so that goes back to what you said. He invented the Spike King. He invented like me being comfortable enough to go out on my own. Because he used to take the T in all the time, the commuter rail. Sometimes we would drive into certain things. He never took me to a football game. I took him in 2014. I took him to his first football game.
Nice.
To make up for it.
Pay it back.
I wish right now. So like, I went to the Titans game recently. I brought Ron. I know he's been watching this. My future father-in-law, pretty much father-in-law. I brought him to the game. He got to come into my world and see it. He had the best time. Like, I guess I
like that.
My Michelle's sister was talking about it. Said he talked about it for 5 days. Like, just
that's awesome.
When I go to games, I have a fun time. I want everyone to have fun. There's a lot. It's business. It's work.
Right.
But you see it. If you're just a standby and you watch the way I operate, you're like, holy shit, this is just like GRD at the Celtics game. It's it's a fun time. I've never gotten to bring my father recently to a game. It's hard because age and stuff and medicals and condition, and it's hard. It's really hard to do it. But yeah, he used to bring me to the Celtics and Pacers games all the time. He brought me to a couple playoff games as well too with the Celtics growing up. Bought me a Paul Pierce jersey. I have it somewhere. One of those old Adidas Paul Pierce jerseys. And I think after a time, probably when I started going to college, probably at the end of high school, when you get older, you stop going. I think the last event we went to, Raw 900 WWE, and I think we just stopped going. But I've seen some great concerts growing up. I say all my tickets, man. They're all in my house up in Lawrence.
No, I
pay in my old bedroom and say it's funny.
We started going more so because like back in the day when they used to try to not con but bribe physicians by saying, hey, prescribe this medication. They'd give my father like Patriot tickets. Like top shelf seating, all the food you can eat or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember going to, actually, this is why I went. We went to the AFC Championship game it was versus Jacksonville. I caught pneumonia then. Great game. Caught pneumonia. And then I remember saying, yo, this is cool. And I brought my dad to ALCS. This is when I was into the Red Sox. Went there, I got a little bit of the sand from like one of those things that's framed out.
Yep.
You know, but we always went to a couple little things, but it was more because like we were gifted it, or then when I started making money, I initiated it.
Yeah.
Because he was always like, we can just watch it at the game, Cliff, and talk our shit, because he loves baseball. But the fact that you had that going, and then you did that. I think that's pretty cool.
You just brought this in my mind, too. Back in the early 2000s, fans don't realize this either. It used to be a lottery. This is when they first got the Green Monster, but it used to be a lottery to get playoff tickets. You'd have to put your name in and win the lottery to get public tickets, and you had the chance to buy them. And it's crazy to think this now. I respect to my dad, because you had to like be on line at a certain time, like 11 a.m. on Ticketmaster. It used to be like that. You know, I just remember he got us tickets to the Oakland A's. They played them in that 5-game series. I think it was 03. It definitely was 03. And he had Game 2 World Series ticket for 2003.
Oh, my God.
I still have that ticket. And it's just as like, to be announced versus National League winner. And it was 2003 because I cried the night that Tim Wakefield threw that knuckleball and Aaron Boone hit it. And they won Game 7, because to get a World Series ticket was very rare. And it was Game 2 for whatever home game they were going to have. And it was just bleacher seats, and it was $60 each.
Oh, my God.
So I still have that ticket saved, because it just like, he ended up taking me to the ring ceremony the year in 2005. But in 2004, when they went to World Series, you didn't win the raffle, like, because it was just, it had to be raffled off. So to have the chance to buy a ticket.
That's a fact.
I mean, like, I respect my dad for bringing me to all of these events. Now it's starting to really hit me in the memories. We're going down to memory road right now.
That's what I'm telling you.
The hustle to do that. And I think it pissed off my mom a lot too. Like, you're spending all this money on all this like concerts and events, but it's memories. It's memories. You take me out, even if we didn't. I mean, we're not like talked all the time and stuff. It just, you sit there, you enjoy it, you enjoy your atmosphere. So
and that's the thing too. That used to be when I need my my beer money. I tell people, and I go out and I do a little bit of photography. It's all about cemented memories.
It is.
You know what I mean? You can go out, we bust our ass, we work. Either it is that you love what you do, you don't, or whatever, but you got bills to pay, and then you have a little bit on the side. You go out, you make memories.
So I'm gonna say this. I think it's all the memories I've gotten. You get to go to these places. And doing the Spike King stuff and doing what we're doing right now, it's come to a point where, I don't have like this end goal, like this has to be done. I'm just enjoying what I do. I've met so many great people to the point that, not that things are handed to you, but you make a lot of connections, and that's what's so important. I can't wait to get these girls to go to games with me. Earlier tonight, GRD brought his godson.
I saw that.
And his godson had a great time, because everyone's coming up to GRD, and he's like a little celebrity. But in your godson's season, it's like, wow, like everybody knows you here. And it makes those concrete memories, as you said, even better. So I can't wait to bring the girls to a tailgate. And I'm crafty. I don't like going to these Patriots games. It's expensive.
Hell yeah.
But I find face value. I find the help out there that I need. You scratch each other's backs, help each other out, and I get myself in there.
It's a community.
Same thing with Michelle. She goes to all these Celtics games, and like, she used to work at the Harp across the street. People that have season tickets. And same thing with the Bruins and like the Patriots now. Like, you can get around with it. So it's been and sometimes too, now that I've built this little platform up, people, and I just mentioned about bringing Ron to a game. I've had people bring me to games in the past, and if you bring me as your guest, you're gonna have the best time in the world, because like, you're bringing me, and you're taking the time to bring me,
baby.
And you got to get ready, and I give you like my world and everything that happens too. So, man, it just it was a little great trip down.
Hey, man,
the Christmas past.
Listen, and it's more than just the Patriots. It's just about, it's the reason as to why people like us are excited about the Patriots. It's about the team, but it's also about what happens in between, just the ups, the downs, the peaks, the valleys of the camaraderie with the fans, with family members, and then getting the opportunity to sit down and speak on it and act like we know everything. So, so let's just to end the show. Tomorrow, I bought tickets for my kids. We're gonna go see Spider-Man. No spoilers, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still watching. Do you feel, or how long do you think one should hold any information without it becoming a spoiler.
Okay, so I had to think on this. And I know Spider-Man came out. Now, what day did Spider-Man come out on?
Last Thursday.
Okay, so here's the thing. If a movie comes out on Thursday, you have until Monday to see it. Okay. That's it. If it gets spoiled after Monday, that's your fault. Because if you truly, truly want to see the movie when it comes out, you had Thursday to see it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You had 4 days to see it, okay? There's no excuses after that. Don't want to hear the excuses.
I have another thing for you. What if, you're working, couldn't get there, and all the freaking tickets are sold out? You
knew in advance when it's getting.
That's a fact.
You knew in advance when it's coming out.
My nephew knew weeks ago, and he was like, "Hey, Unc, are you gonna put it try to set up like a?" How do these kids know?
It's
he's
just
like 13, like a robot, to buy it for me. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, little man.
It's just like, the Patriots are playing at 1:00 on Sunday. Are you going to start going around Sunday night and saying, well, I worked during the day, I haven't watched the game yet, please don't spoil it for me?
It's different. Because that's live. This is a movie.
But it's like, it's somewhat live, like in a sense of like, hey, we're going live Thursday. You have a couple days. I mean, there are jerks out there on Twitter, and you have to they'll just try to tell you what it is. And I know I asked Humlin about this tonight as well too, and he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna wait till it's on Netflix and watch it. So if I see spoilers, it is what it is." But he's like, "I'm also not actively googling about Spider-Man. Like that's another thing too. There's a difference too of like, hey, Cliff, did you see Spider-Man yet? This is what happened. This is what happened. Right. So it is different that way. But don't cry a river if you're a social media nut.
So you're saying 4 days.
4 days. But if it's a release on a Thursday, now if it's a movie, movies are always released on Thursdays. It's always Thursdays. You got 4 days. You got a 4 day window. You have 4 days to get it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'll give them the full 7. I don't mind. Just
don't complain after. Then don't complain after a week when you see spoilers.
Yeah, I think it's fair game after that.
But also don't be actively going on social media trying to find spoilers or things about Spider-Man because it's going to be out there.
100%.
So then you go and cry, but you're spoiling it for me. Like, why are you doing that? Like, just if you're afraid of that, stay off of Twitter until you go see the movie.
It's fairly simple, ladies and gentlemen.
It's that simple.
And just like
a lot of people complain
ladies and gentlemen, this is another Boston Power Hour. This was a fun one, man. It was just
good.
It was
a lot of Christmas
sports.
Stuff.
You got to vent. I vented just a little bit. I normally don't rant. I did a little ranting, but I also understand how this is without going back into it, it's a sport. It's people playing other people. Someone want it more than others. People are getting a little older. Might not be worth the value, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, we meet up every single Monday to do this, and I can't wait till next week.
Cliff, I just want to say I hope you and the family have a very Merry Christmas.
You as well, sir.
Anybody that's watching out there as well, have a happy, I don't say happy holidays, I say Merry Christmas.
Me too. Real quick, here's my rant. I'm sorry, okay? When the hell did the world just get crazy? For me to say Merry Christmas and that offends you, boom, mind-blowing. I'm sorry. Get over yourself. Too sensitive. This is what I want to say. If me saying these words that are not being offensive is just me wishing you well wishes based on a holiday that I believe in, if you're affected by this, your life is fucked up. I'm sorry. That's all I have to say.
It just takes a few people to be upset about something, not happy, and they spin it, and then you have to make everybody happy in the PC world.
Ugh.
And, growing up, I worked at Market Basket as one of my jobs growing up, and they advise you got to say Happy Holidays because you need to include everybody, those that celebrate,
I say
Kwanzaa.
That's the thing. If I know someone saying that like I have Jewish friends.
Yeah.
I understand.
Happy holidays,
Hanukkah.
But
you know what I mean? Happy Kwanzaa. Or whatever it is. I'm not going to force Christmas down their throats. Like, come on, like cut it out.
But if in a world of 400 million people here in the United States, or the billions that live across the entire world, most people celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
And Christmas, we're not as religious. We're not as a religious world in America,
right,
as it was probably 25 to 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So Christmas is a very hallmark holiday now. Mm-hmm. It's more about family time. It's a day off. It's a Saturday this year. Everyone's going to be off of work. Mm-hmm. It's a day that everyone gets together. Everyone has different ways they celebrate it. Saying Merry Christmas. It's Christmas. It's the next major holiday, just like Happy Thanksgiving.
That's all it is.
Like Happy St. Patrick's Day. Like it is what it is. Like how many people celebrate St. Patrick's Day are not even Irish.
Right.
They just celebrate. So It's just more of a world day coming together that everyone in the United States, at least here, the way we celebrate, take a break, spend some time with your family, have a good day. I know people out there work. Those people that are working, you're also an MVP because the world keeps spinning around. I do wish, if we we're going to go back on one thing, things need to be closed. Just like Thanksgiving, there should be no Black Friday.
I agree.
Everything should be closed.
Agreed.
No one should be working. The only people that should be working are those that are working in an emergency type of field.
We thank them.
And yeah, absolutely. But that's it. That should only, no retail stores should be open. No McDonald's, no Dunkin' Donuts, none of that stuff.
Like
Nothing
if
should
you
be
didn't get
open.
your freaking mayonnaise the day before because you know
Yeah.
you're making macaroni salad, guess what? You're eating dry pasta.
The entire day needs to be off for the world to just shut down at once.
Yeah.
But I know we're such a money-hungry corporation
It's
business world.
disgusting.
It's disgusting. But
one day is not going to hurt. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Boston Power Hour. Enjoy yourselves and Merry Christmas.